When a relationship ends, be it friendship or romantic, it can happen that we hold anger towards the person whom we trusted and broke that trust. We feel like they played us. And this anger can also be directed to ourselves because we just do not understand how we could have been so stupid as to trust and believe them. That anger, I'm gonna say it straight off the bat, that anger is quite possibly one of the worst things you can embrace. Because anger, and this is not coming from me, I think it was the Bodhisattva that said that to be angry at someone or to hold resentment towards someone is like drinking a cup of poison tea, hoping that the other one will get hurt. That anger serves absolutely no purpose aside from hurting yourself. When you are angry at someone, you basically choose not to learn from that person. Now, I totally understand that when a relationship ends, again, be it friendship or romantic, it's quite easy to fall down the trap of that person is 100% wrong and I am the victim. And I am, of course, 100% right. So that is a trap that I fell into. And I think it's very easy to fall down that trap. When we do that, we first have to realize that the object of our anger or even hatred is not affected by that. So if this person, that person makes you feel angry, makes you feel like you have hatred for them, they don't care. It doesn't affect them. The only person that is affected by said anger, hatred, is you. And it serves no purpose at all towards spiritual awakening. Again, it puts a stop, a temporary stop on your spiritual journey because you are so focused on being angry at them and or yourself that you forget two things. You forget that whatever that person was to you, that person was also someone who entered your life to teach you something. And the second thing that you forget is yourself. Because when you choose to embrace anger and hatred, you automatically choose to disregard the polar opposite of those things, and that is unconditional love. Now, I hope you guys understand me right when I say unconditional love. You should have unconditional love for everyone and everything in this world because we are all a drop at source. We are all one. We are all love, we come from love, we are love, and we go back to love when we leave this body. Now, having unconditional love for people doesn't mean that you have to like them. It doesn't mean that you have to like them. It doesn't mean that you have to put up with what they put you through. It doesn't mean that you should forget self-respect. So, you can have unconditional love for a person, but then realize that they are not good for you. Realize that you learned the lesson they came into your life for you to learn, and just send them on their merry way, or put some distance between them and you, or completely live their lives and, stop talking to them altogether. You do not have to justify yourself unless you want to. But you do not have to justify yourself. You put some distance between this person and yourself because you know that what you had to learn was learned, and that being together is neither good for you nor them. And that is an act of unconditional love. Even though they might not understand it right away, even though they might think that you betrayed them, actually you do that out of unconditional love for them, for yourself, but then again, we are one. So if you do it for them, you do it for yourself. If you do it for yourself, you do it for them. And so if you choose not, because again, it's always a choice. Spiritual awakening is a choice. If you choose not to embrace anger, if you choose to say, I'm not gonna fall into the trap of hatred, but learn from that relationship, even though it's really hard, even though you feel like you were betrayed, abandoned. First of all, no one can abandon you because you are already complete. Therefore, you don't need anybody else to be complete. And when you feel like you're missing someone, this feeling of missing someone comes from attachment. And to go back to my video on unconditional love, you cannot have unconditional love for someone if you are attached to them. The reason being, when you have unconditional love for someone, you let them be who they are. You do not try to control them or change them. And you do not try to keep them in your life if they choose not to. Unconditional love is giving the other the freedom to be who they are. And if being who they are means that they should live your life, then be happy for them. And if it's too hard to be happy for them, then just let it go. Let them go. Usually when someone lives my life, I tend to choose, again, choice, unconditional love. And I am genuinely, that is the hardest part, genuinely grateful for the time that they chose to be with me. And that is something that I noticed, is that usually when you are not satisfied in an ongoing relationship, again, friendship or romantic relationship, it's usually a lack of trust. And when you are still unsatisfied with a past relationship, it's usually a lack of gratitude. So when this or that person is in your life, trust them. Unless they give you a reason not to, in which case, then maybe you should, self-respect yourself, self-love yourself. Redundant, but you know the gist, you understand what I mean. And decide to put some distance between them and you. But again, when you keep in mind that the object of your hatred or anger doesn't care about you, even if they care about you, to hate someone doesn't affect them, right? Unless you act upon your hatred, which I do not recommend. But to hate someone doesn't affect them. It doesn't do anything to them. It's only poisoning yourself because it's preventing yourself from loving yourself, from embracing unconditional love, embracing self-improvement, embracing gratitude, and all those things, that contribute towards your spiritual awakening. And spiritual awakening is a state of completeness, a state of knowing who you are, a state of being genuinely happy and content. And spiritual awakening is not, at least not for me, was not an explosion, like all of a sudden I knew everything about everything. It's not how it works. Spiritual awakening, like I said before, is a change in perspective. And in that case, when you end a relationship with someone or they choose to end a relationship with you, change your perspective from anger to gratitude. Change your perspective from this person was useless to me, they wasted my time, to actually there is something there for me to learn, and they might be, whomever they are, at least in that instance, they were a teacher to me. And for that lesson, be grateful. And like I said, if you don't want to see them ever again, don't see them ever again. You don't have to like everybody. Loving people unconditionally doesn't make you like them. You love them for who they are, but you also have discernment. You know if they are a right person, to be in your life or not. And like I said, this can change. Someone whom you thought was not a right person to be in your life can become the perfect match in the future. Who knows? Life is full of possibilities. Life is full of surprises. And it's one of the things, that makes life so beautiful and so amazing to live. And also, when you are full of anger and hatred, you don't necessarily feel very good. At least, I never felt good when I chose to embrace anger and hatred. Whereas when you choose to embrace unconditional love, gratitude, and try to, ferret out what was the lesson for me there being the relationship, you feel good. You feel amazing. And I said that in a previous video, but usually when you genuinely feel good about something, it's the higher self telling you that you're doing right by yourself. So, as much as you can, and I know it's hard, as much as you can, choose never to embrace anger and hatred, and always unconditional love and gratitude